Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. That's Joe Smith. Athletic Club 0, Manchester United 3.
You can tell from your voice it's been a good night, Jay.
I'm still sort of shocked because me and you were chatting there. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know what you think. It's almost like, because we've had like an hour to process it, to accept the fact we're 3-0 up. It's almost like you sort of come to terms with it, but let's not normalise it. That was an absolutely mental result, a fantastic result, and an amazing performance from Manchester United. Yes, obviously they went down to 10 men and we had a penalty, but it was beyond our sort of wildest dreams that we'd go Bilbao and win 3-0. I think before the game, and in the preview and just on the build-up to watch along, me and you were hoping like there'd be one goal in it. We'd maybe get a 1-0 or a draw, or even if we were losing by a goal, it's not the end of the world to go to Old Trafford with just one goal in it. But to go away there and win 3-0 and more or less have wrapped up the tie already, it's just, I'm running out of words to describe it, Joe, so help me out.
Yeah, incredible. It is just incredible. And when we've been as bad as we've been this season, and when we've been so poor in the first halves of games and away from home, you know, to do that there against the fourth best side in La Liga, when they know if they win the tie, they play at their own ground in the final, is absolutely astonishing. And, you know, especially where United have been, and not even where they've been. It's not like in the league everything started to get better. We're still crap in the league. We watch us every single week, and we are not very good at football. To go there and to do that, and to win 3-0, and to be 3-0 up at 38, 39 minutes, whatever it was, is absolutely stunning. I like you said, I couldn't see that coming whatsoever. Genuinely, completely stunned by that. And, you know, there's also something to be said for, like, as you mentioned, it's been what, an hour and a half or so since United last scored a goal, or an hour since United last scored a goal. So it does feel a little like it's dimmed a bit. If we'd have scored 3 goals in the last 10 minutes, me and you would be on the table still now. But there's something to be said about how they controlled that game in the second half. I think Bilbao had 2 shots in the second half. That is fantastic. Because the last thing you want is a sloppy goal or, you know, a red card because the ref wants to even it up. If that's 3-2 or 3-1, it's a completely different night next week. 3-0 is massive because Mikola said it on the watch-along. They have to come and go for it now, Bilbao. They can't just come to United and try and nick one and then they're right back in it. They need 3 goals to draw without us even scoring. It's a huge, huge difference. And yeah, put it down in this sort of list of phenomenal sort of European nights, because I know it's not Champions League and it's not any of that stuff, but we don't win in Spain very often at all, no matter who it's against, no matter what competition it's in. So to win 3-0 in the midst of this sort of shambolic and utterly shambolic league campaign is absolutely stunning.
It is absolutely stunning. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Yank, welcome to the Academy. Thanks for joining the members group. We've got extra content on the members section. I think there's a video out tomorrow, perhaps. Me and Joe doing a little bit of a quiz. Tyler Wood says, that is a good win United fans should feel good about. Just enjoy this. Up the Reds, up the Paddock. Celebrate everyone. I agree. I remember after the Lyon game, right, when I spoke about this, I think in the news, where people were sort of rival fans criticising us. Oh, United, look how far they've fallen when they're celebrating the Europa League quarter-final win like it's the treble. But the fact United are so poor makes nights like this even better. Because it's like, you know what? If we don't win the Europa, we ain't got Champions League football next season. It's not like we're sat on top of the Premier League. So it makes it more important. And when you've had so many bad results, so many poor performances, so many underwhelming just, you know, games and bad defeats, when you get a game like tonight, which is one of the first games, even in Europe, where we've looked absolutely comfortable after, like, what was it, half an hour? It's amazing. You've got to really enjoy it. Nick Anand, who's a member of the Academy, 55 months, Nick's been on the channel a few times, says, didn't think we'd get anywhere near that result. Bring on the second leg and then the final. Love it. UTFP, UTFR. I was asking the question earlier, me, you and Maka were talking about the best player on the pitch, and I think you said Fernandes, and Maka was arguing with Casemiro. But there was a few players tonight who really steps up, weren't there? I want to talk about Harry Maguire. You've stuck up for Maguire now for years because he's had his critics, hasn't he? Let's face facts, he has. People questioning the amount of money we paid for him, people comparing him to players like Virgil van Dijk or Ruben Diaz and people like that, and saying, oh, he's not in that class or whatever. Even England fans turn on him, which is something I've never understood. Losing the captaincy. It's always been a bit of a struggle for Maguire, sort of post the first 18 months, to truly sort of get everyone on board. But these last few weeks, that goal against Lyon, and then that run tonight, I mean, who is he?
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
It's mad, and it is mad, and he's obviously a good player, and he seems to have found a home in this three at the back. I think you can sort of shield some of his weaknesses and allow some of his strengths, like the amount of times he wins balls in the air. He steps up into the midfield well as well when he's tracking his men, which is something that he's kind of added to his game. And then now he's added this kind of ancillary sort of attacking option as well, where he will crop up in the middle or literally come on as a striker at times. It's not just like set pieces. He came on as a striker against Lyon. And then tonight, turning their fullback inside out, like going one way, cutting back, going back again, and delivering a fantastic ball to Ugarte, who glanced it on, Casemiro at the back post, and 1-0. And that sets the tone. Because we saw, in the 5th minute, we saw Garnacho had a goal disallowed. Yeah. And after that, I keep coming back to it. Inaki Williams had a header, brilliant run in between, funnily enough, Yoro and Maguire, and it's a free header, 7 yards out, 8 yards out. He has to score. It's a massive chance, and he puts it over the bar. So from what could have been 1-0 to them, and if that had gone in, I feel like we might have broken a little bit tonight with everything and the weight that's on us this season. But then you see Maguire go up the other end and reassure and put that goal in, or help make that goal. That was absolutely massive. And I think with Maguire, like you said, all the stuff he's been through of not just did he lose the captaincy, which how often does that happen, that someone gets the captaincy taken off him and still is at the club for years afterwards. He's been out of the England squad, all these things, out of the United team, ridiculed, made jokes about, made a meme, all these things. You never hear anything off the pitch. You never hear him come out and, lash out or say things on social media or come out in press conferences. The worst he ever said or worst he did was put his hands over his ears, which in the grand scheme of footballers kicking off, it's about as mild as it gets, even if it is slightly silly. I just think that the way he stuck to it is absolutely admirable for anyone. And to now be putting in performances that is helping us win games, and like I said, such a crucial time, that first goal away from home, absolutely huge. And you've just got to give him credit and be grateful that he didn't kick off and didn't leave and is here now putting in good performances.
100%. Hands up for the Panther says, some fans had utter meltdowns to losses, like the league matters. Look at us, showed tonight when matters we step up. Europa is ours. Great result. Jack Stevens says Magdini to Magdinho. Emily Ultra says Lamine Maguire is amazing. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I mean, look, you said it all there about Harry Maguire. It felt like as well tonight. It was weird because when you were saying there about who was it who had the chance? Was it Williams had the
Inaki Williams.
Inaki Williams had the header. I thought that was what was going to happen with United. I thought United were going to get one chance, and if we didn't take it, we'd look back on it and be like, that was our opportunity to get something. And it was the other way around. They didn't take it, and they got battered. And I was worried that might happen to us, and it was just a good game all round from so many players. And I think that even the players that have been flawed this season, they still contributed and did the bit. Like Rasmus Højlund, there's still bits where I look at him and I still think, someone who's got a little bit more confidence wouldn't need as many touches there, or someone would be making a different run there. But he still contributed massively because I think he was involved in, was it the second goal, one of the goals where he was involved in the sort of the build-up.
The third goal.
But also the third goal, thank you. But obviously winning that penalty. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he didn't contribute. Garnacho, who can still be a little bit frustrating, but at least he was carrying the ball, he was getting into that opposition third, he was causing them problems. So even the players that have been flawed this season, and you still see some of them flaws, they stepped up. They did enough where we helped get a result, because had they not, I don't think United could have gone to Bilbao and got a result if you have 3 or 4 players just not doing their job, basically. Yeah. It felt like a real team performance. It felt very similar to that when, like in Paris when we beat PSG. I know it's different levels and all the rest of it, but in that second half, there's so many players that sort of stepped up like that night, who just did what they needed to do and what they had to do. And it felt like that with Manchester United. People were commenting on Ugarte. Ugarte probably didn't have his best game, but he had 2 assists, which is
tough night for him. And Dorgu are both. I thought both of them didn't play at their best. I thought Yoro first half wasn't at his best either. But you're allowed to have an off game. Yeah. And I know obviously you can look at trends over time, and maybe I think certain people aren't huge fans of Ugarte and Dorgu's technical ability. But I do think they bring something, especially in this competition, that others don't. Their work rate, their energy, their athleticism, and more so in the case of Dorgu, Ugarte just brings that relentlessness. Yeah, you need that. Yeah, and I think tonight it paid dividends, because as you mentioned, 2 assists for him. I think the first one, I'm not sure whether he's trying to head at the back post and don't get enough on it when he goes to Casemiro. But the second one is a beautiful pass into Bruno Fernandes, puts him through on goal with a good touch from Bruno. And that was match over and hopefully tie over. So you've got to give him some credit for that, even if you think the rest of his game might have some limitations. I thought he had a very productive night. You guys,
that's what I mean.
Not a massive
even if you can sort of look at certain performances, I know some people being critical of certain players. I thought as a whole the team played well. Everyone did what they needed to do. I think it was someone here saying, Chris says Lindelof was poor. I don't think he was poor. I don't think anyone would look at and go, you had a poor game. I think there was some players that were better than others and some players that really stepped up massively. But I think as a whole, that was a proper team performance at a very difficult stadium against a good side. And yes, they went down to 10 men, but you can only beat what's in front of them. We made them look pretty average, didn't we? Yeah. We really did. Get involved in the channel comments. People talking about Mason Mount. He's still getting critics. I mean, it's not easy as well coming on in a game like that. I think there was a couple of sloppy passes, but I think you said it's like a proper first pass of the night when you've just come in as a sub. And also I think he won a couple of free kicks that were quite important as well. So I don't really want to be too harsh on the
dynamic was odd second half because we made a load of subs, and also you're in such an interesting position because obviously you think now's a chance we could get 5 here, and then it is dead. Yeah. But on the other hand, if you concede, like we said before, if you concede even 1 goal, next week now becomes this like fairy tale night for them, doesn't it? Yeah. And you can almost see it unfolding. So United had to be adventurous but completely safe and solid at the same time, and I think they did that well. Whitterbird has been a member of the academy for 27 months. See Vic in the chat says Martin Odegaard versus Bruno is put to bed. I agree with that. I know people go, well, Martin Odegaard's playing in the Champions League. He didn't have a good night the other night, did he? Is he playing though? Is he playing? Because I watched them on Tuesday night and I didn't see him playing.
He was bobbing, wasn't he? I mean, and also, I've always thought Bruno Fernandes is just a better player than Martin Odegaard. Odegaard's just in a better team. Yeah. That's all it is.
No question.
And I think if you had put Bruno in that team, they'd have won more than, 1 trophy in the last 6 years. Yeah. I think even United have won more than that. Not over, says SAS30. Is it over, Joe? Is it genuinely over? If you're at Old Trafford next week and I don't know, Williams gets a goal in the first 10 minutes, are you going to be thinking, or do you think, look, we're not going to lose 3-0?
We could fuck it up.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we are really bad.
Yeah.
But I think it is over. I think it is. And obviously, we're talking about sport here. There's room for things to go wrong. But I think 3 is just too much. Because not only do they have to score 3 minimum, they have to stop us scoring again. And even before the red card, we were making chances. The Garnacho goal that was disallowed, obviously to square the ball for the penalty in the first place when they got, which was the second one I know, we were getting the ball in good areas before their red card. So I think they will do a very good job to score 3 and stop us scoring. I think it's almost impossible for them personally. I think we will be in the final, yeah. Do you? We've got to be, surely.
Yeah, I think we might have lost the feed there. People saying F. Low audio. People saying a couple of audio issues. Forgive us if we've had a few glitches. We're going to wrap up soon anyway, but stick with us and do hit that like button. I think that there's a chance, I said this during the watch along, that he could put a stronger team out if he wanted to in the second leg, if he wanted to, because now he's got Ahmad, who's probably going to be fit enough by that time to start. De Ligt could probably start. I think that gives me a lot of optimism as well, because I think that the game's almost, the tie's done, but also you've got players who've come back from injury.
Ahmad looked tight when he came on as well. Some touches and just the way his body moves, you forget how much detail his dribbling's got, and he's such a technical player, Ahmad, and seeing him come back was brilliant. It's almost like they've been sort of training him in the darkness or something. I can't believe he was ready to play already. Even we saw him coming back to the first team training 2 days ago, and already he's making minutes. So, brilliant to see both of them back. And imagine, like you said, start an even stronger team next week. Surely we don't blow a 3-0 lead. Surely not.
Some people saying Bruno's speaking to TNT. We can get any quotes from that. We will do. There was a start that was in the rounds, and it was you pointing out, and it's almost disappointing, isn't it? It's like Bruno Fernandes is the first player in Europa League history to register 30 goal contributions in the knockout stages. It's only taken him 32 games, which is amazing, but also sad.
Why is he had to play 32 games in the Europa League knockout stages?
I know, he should have played 30.
It's like fucking, what's his name, Billy Sharp, the championship's all-time top goal scorer. You're like, that is great, but also, why was I in the Championship for 300 games and couldn't make it into the Premier League?
Yeah.
I just feel sorry for him more than anything.
He's been speaking after the game. He says, you can never predict a scoreline like that. Very tough. Team, big atmosphere. I never knew they were like that. Talking about the crowd, I think. And he says, but I love this sort of atmosphere. He certainly thrived in that atmosphere, didn't he? I mean, he was just... We've said it during the watch long. I don't want to stand out. Anyone can question Bruno Fernandes. I think it's just... You're trying to sort of... I think someone called it rage bait. I think that's all it is. That's the only way I can look at it, because I think it's, he's just so good. Played out, it's a bit shaky, but job done. Bit shaky as usual, but job done, be happy. Valentino Montreal says, United already bottled a 3-0 lead against the Spanish League some 2 years ago, with De Gea making a fool of himself.
It was a 2-0 lead,
It was 2-0 at Old Trafford, wasn't it? It was Sabitzer who got both goals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And also, I mean, look, this is completely different in the sense that first leg was at Old Trafford, and we drew after being 2-0 up. Went away at Sevilla. Thank you. Went away and had a stinker. This time round, we've battered them in their backyard. Coming back to Old Trafford with potentially a stronger squad available as well. There's every reason to feel that Manchester United can get past Bilbao Athletic Club.
Huge.
And there's also every reason to think we can go on and win it.
It's going to be
Do you
top,
care about the Spurs?
I'd rather
have you looked at that?
3-1 going back to Bodo, so there's an option there.
Yeah.
That they could potentially pull it out. I don't think they will. I think Tottenham will beat them. Premier League teams just seem too good at the minute, don't they? Generally speaking, and I would hate to lose to them in the final, because they are meme beyond meme in terms of not winning trophies. If you're the fucking team that lets them win one, that would be an absolute nightmare. But on the other hand, Tottenham don't win trophies, so it would give us a good chance to win the Europa. It could just be an absolute disaster, though, couldn't it?
Also, I think we've got the obligatory Rasmus Højlund Insta caption.
What's he said?
Oh my God! He's surpassed himself. He's put a picture of himself getting I think this is him getting pulled down for the penalty, perhaps. But he's put first time a group of lads from Manchester leave Spain with a clean sheet.
Why don't I get it?
A lad's holiday in Spain. And on that bombshell, who'd have thought, right, before kickoff, by the end of kickoff, we're absolutely laughing our head off as Rasmus Højlund makes jokes about clean sheets in Spain. What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. Make sure, if you're not doing so already, you are subscribing to the channel. We're going to get all the post-match reaction as well from the usual suspects. That's been Joe Smith. I'm Jay Motti. This has been a review. Manchester United beating Athletic Club 3-0 in Bilbao. Bring it on.